Okay, let's look at cleaning accounts and contacts inside of Salesforce. So if you saw our blog post at Ramped Up, where we talked about the 3 ways to keep Salesforce clean, you know the first area was cleaning data that comes into Salesforce. So that's in the form of leads, and you can check out our lead appending in Salesforce demo to see how that functionality works. Because today we're going to look at on the account and contact. So you see I'm logged in to Salesforce, and I am using the classic version just to show some backwards compatibility. It is the RampedUp tool is lightning ready. So let's look at this account. You see the RampedUp battle card is right below the account detail, and the RampedUp battle card sits inside of the accounts, the leads, and the opportunity tabs within Salesforce. So today we're going to look specifically at the company tab, and you see there's a couple of other tabs that we will cover in additional demos. So the clean, what we are doing in the clean is we have some contacts that are already a part of this account, and if we looked at these contacts, we'd see we had a number of names and titles and emails and phone numbers, and we want to clean that, make sure that these are valid contacts inside of our account. So let's get started with that. So I click on this clean button, and it gives us a confirmation here and tells us exactly what's going to happen. So first it's going to update the incomplete, any kind of firmographic information. So if you were missing a phone number, address, employee count, etc., we would refresh that data. Now we know that that does not change very often, but it does from time to time, and this would allow you to keep that data fresh. The next thing it's going to do is the list of contacts that we just saw, it's going to update and complete any that we don't have information on inside of Salesforce with data that we have, as well as add contacts that are specific buyers of your product and service. And I'll show you how we identify those specific buyers by title in just a minute. And then the last thing it's going to do is it's going to identify old contacts in the account record and label them as inactive. So let's get that service started. So as that's running, and I mentioned to you that we have the capability of identifying specific buyers. And so in the back end, this is an administrative user logged in. We can take a look at our decision makers. And this is where we use the title to search for and acquire specific data by title. So it's as easy as deleting one you don't need, or if you do need it, it's just a matter of adding that back by keying it in. So what this does is it allows us to use specific titles to find those buyers that would be a part of the buying committee for your product and service. So once that service has been run and you see it's cleaning contacts, let's take a look at those contacts and see. Let's refresh the page and take a look at what might be happening to these contacts as it's cleaning this account. So you can see that we have some contacts that have been adjusted by appending inactive on their record. So if we click into one and just check out what that really looks like, you can see we've just appended inactive on the first name, so that will help you identify which contacts are no longer active inside the account, so you don't waste time trying to market or call people who are no longer there. And there's different business processes that you may have in how you manage inactive contacts, and you can use those once we've identified them by this inactive tag. So now that we've had these contacts identified as inactive, we go one step further, and that is, so since Ken is no longer at DocuSign, and we can label him as inactive, we know where Ken went because we have an employment history record. So one other step that it's a toggle that I'll show you, but we drop any leads into our lead tab within Salesforce, and you see Ken right here. So Ken is no longer at DocuSign, he is at Congo. And so we appended that data and placed him in the leads tab so that now, since you knew Ken before and he was a buyer from you, you can now take this lead record. That's an easy access to a new account because you have a previous relationship with Ken. So quickest way into a pipeline is through current relationships or previous relationships from past buyers. And this is one quick way to get that done and make it happen. So that is a rep level clean, and we talk about that in our blog post. And then one last way that will complete Salesforce cleaning is from an administrative standpoint. So again, we come to the RampedUp UI and we go to our appending tab. And so you can see, and if you've seen the earlier demo about lead import, you know all about this area. But we also clean and append contacts as well as accounts. And so some of the same functionality. So we have field mapping where we can place specific data into specific fields inside of Salesforce, and you have the option to choose that. And this is a toggle that I mentioned earlier. So you can see import inactive contacts as leads. So right now I have that toggled on. That is why those leads ended up in my leads tab once imported data or appended data and corrected leads, or excuse me, contacts that were no longer a part of that account record. So we can also, from a back end, globally apply the same kind of clean to our contact records. And you see here I have an example of where we can do it by account, or we may do it by a create date. So if we imported data that we know we need to append and clean, we can make that happen, as well as some specific territorial type options, filter criteria that will allow us to target a specific territory, maybe for an open head count before a new rep comes in. And then we also have the same capability on the accounts. Again, we know that the account data probably does not change near as much, but if you read the blog post, contact data certainly does at a rate of about 25 to 35% a year. So that's why the contact clean and append is important, as well as keeping the account data fresh. So that's the RampedUp tool inside of Salesforce and our clean capability. And we know at RampedUp that customer insight plus sales intelligence gives you account-based selling. Thanks for watching.